Okay, so here's the second chapter on how to install a electric fuel pump into a gas tank. Now you can see this is a typical boat tank, and what we've done is we've cut a hole in the top of it, and then I cut a similar hole out of the top of a gas tank with an electric fuel pump in it, and welded that rim of the with the mounting flange for the fuel pump right to the tank of the boat. And that boat tank rather, and so that way now we can remove this. If we need to change out this fuel pump, we certainly can. We can exchange it for a similar type. Again, we've got it hardwired now directly into the vehicle, and that way we don't have to we don't have to flip anything or unplug anything back here. And so then our fuel lines then go up to the front. By the way, you'll notice the tank is properly bolted down with metal strapping. It's not going to go anywhere. The fuel lines run up front and through the firewall in the same fashion that we did on the other vehicle. Obviously inside piping when it goes through the firewall to make sure it's safe. In this case, these lines are all metal, and so they don't need to be encased in a pipe inside the vehicle. We just have them attached to the frame in the front and back. Now over there is our control panel, and I'll zoom in on that for you to let you see it a little better. And you can see that I've got 4 switches on there. Fire is the ignition. It turns on all things under the hood. Fan is for the electric fans. We cut them out of the regular system and ran wire directly to it. Rerouted it in a safer fashion. We didn't have to deal with all the mess in the fuel, all of the rest of the electrical system. We have the fuel pump there. Now that is a direct line right to the fuel pump that you saw mounted in the tank. And then the starter is strictly connected to the starter relay, and that just cranks the engine over and does nothing else other than that. And so now we've bypassed all of the electrical in the vehicle, so we don't have to deal with automatic shutoffs or any of that kind of stuff, because you'll see all that. It's just a hot line that's run through a fuse and then goes right to the fuel pump. And then again, the fuel pump is grounded to the chassis of the vehicle. Works in exactly the same fashion as the other one that we showed in Chapter 1. Also, you'll see that we've tucked all the electrical up and out of the way here. I know that I had mentioned that in the last one. It was a total mess. And you can see that essentially what we do is we take all the main trunk lines and we bring those up off the floor and zip tie them to things that are already existing on the vehicle, such as that mount right there for the dash, or sometimes we fashion our own straps and attach them up, and we zip tie the main trunks first, and then we zip tie any auxiliary trunks from there. In this case, we reuse some of the casing for the electrical that was already in the vehicle. That line right there ran under the floor originally for tail lights and things like that. And all we did is we just chose one wire out of that and reused it for the fuel pump. And that way we can make sure that everything is properly connected and it works really well. Now in this vehicle, the only thing that's still stock is the shifter. A lot of times we'll go directly through the floor to the shifter, but in this case it's a cable connect. It's very reliable. It's really well run. We really didn't see any reason to redo it, and it's been working flawlessly for us through 2 rough truck challenges and a derby so far, so I think we're going to be okay with that. And then of course the battery box is here mounted to the floor. I just need to fasten that down, and then over the top of all the electrical there I will throw a big piece of plastic and make sure that's zip tied up there too, just to keep any rain off. These are outside events. You never know what's going to happen as far as the weather goes, and sometimes you get wet. And last time this vehicle ran, it did rain like the dickens, and so we make sure that all of this electrical gets covered by a piece of plastic to keep it, and tuck the ends of that plastic up and out of the way to keep it out of harm's way, but to keep all that wiring as safe as possible as well. And you could put it into a box or something like that, but we don't want to spend so much time on this that it becomes a full-time job or anything either. So we strip the vehicle out, make it clean. We reroute all the wires out of harm's way through the firewall, close up any big holes in the firewall. You obviously got to cover that. You don't want to be exposing yourself to everything going on underneath the hood in case something bad happens under there during a derby. And then the only other thing, obviously the battery gets moved inside, and you're good to go. So I hope that's been helpful to those people who had that question. We've gotten a lot of questions about fuel systems. That's the way that we do it. I hope that makes sense. And I would just wish you all to be safe out there, and happy derbying. And hey, if you happen to see us out and about and you see the SFM vehicles, you see us out at the derby that you're at, if anything that we've done has been helpful to you, we'd love to have you come up and say hey. And hopefully you guys just have an absolutely great day. Take care.